You know what's not that funny is that we have recorded an hour episode and the video was blurry. You couldn't see anything. Technical difficulties.
I don't know what happened.
Ugh.
Anyways, you know what? That kind of fits perfectly with our topic today. Relationships.
It just doesn't work out sometimes.
Yep, they're messy, and yeah, sometimes you think they're great, and it's trash.
Just trash. We're just girls.
Yeah, no, we kind of talked about in our last video a little bit about our weekend holiday little bash, and so yeah, we'll kind of get into that. That was really fun. So we actually went out to the bars on Halloween night, and then we also had like a house friend party on Saturday night.
Okay, so Halloween was on a Thursday night. Like, do you think people should go out the weekend before or the weekend of? Or the weekend after?
The weekend before, only because the weekend after. I mean, it depends on so it depends on what day of the weekend is. So I feel like this year it should have been the weekend after because it was on a Thursday.
So close to the next weekend.
So it was kind of weird that it was like half the people at the bars were dressed up the weekend before and half the people were dressed up the weekend after.
Right. It was very confusing on what people should do.
Yeah. So it was just kind of fun to be able to see everybody. But
yeah. Definitely fun to go out on Halloween.
Yeah.
Like, we don't do that very often, so.
But in our video, we had our skeleton costumes, but we had those raunchy Lord Farquaad wigs on. And so
they look, yeah.
Those were bad. So we decided to get a little bit cuter this year, or with the Halloween stuff, and so we ended up doing purple spray paint in our hair, so that was way cuter. But
you will have to pop up a photo of us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It was so cute.
We were cute ass skeletons.
Yeah.
For sure.
So we actually normally, I don't know what it is, but we never get approached at the bar usually.
Okay. Hardly ever. Once in a blue moon, but not the way Halloween night was.
Right.
Like, the boys were out that night.
They were out.
They're on the prowl.
Yeah, it was definitely way more fun because I feel like this time, okay, so normally when you're at the bar, guys like approach you in a way of like, I'm taking you home with me tonight kind of thing.
Like, you're mine.
Yeah.
Ooh, I hate it when it's like close to bar close and they're like, where have you been all my life? I'm like, fucking not around you.
Running from you.
Yeah, obviously not with you. So no, I totally know what you mean.
Yeah, it was like this Halloween. It was nice because we had a lot more guys that were having basic conversations where it wasn't like they were trying to get with us. Like, it was really honestly genuine conversations, and so that was a really nice breath of fresh air, definitely, for that.
Right. No, for sure. I think what got me the most was, since I'm 29, how the 21 and 22-year-olds were just, they were going for it. So they were hitting on us.
Well, they come up looking like babies. And so, like, our first thing is like, okay.
How old are you?
How old are you?
I have to ask now. Seriously.
Yeah. And then it, like, I quit doing this. I used to be like, okay, well, how old do you think I am? I just get my feelings hurt. I'm like, shut your damn mouth. I don't even want to know anymore.
You're grounded.
Yeah.
Shut up. You tell them that you're grounded. Shut up.
Yeah. And so, I feel like when I ask people, I get like, so I'm 25, and people gets me to be like 31, 32, and I'm like, and she's 29 and people guess her to be 24.
So flip a table. So funny. So that's ironic though.
Yeah, I quit asking that question.
It's not it gets, yeah. Well, and honestly, the one guy that answered it so boldly, he's like, I definitely think you're 31. What do you?
Yeah.
That was the guy.
You always guess younger too. Like, who do you think you are? Like, were you guessing younger? Because that's bullshit.
That is right. No, I think, yeah. Okay, so this guy, he had some really interesting pickup lines.
Oh, yeah.
What did he start with? This guy, well, first of all, he comes up to us, hair gelled back, gold chain. He definitely looked like he was from Jersey Shore. Like, that was his costume or some shit like that. I don't know what else it would have been other than douchebag. He comes up and, asks guesses our age, and then he starts talking about jacking off every day because he doesn't go to the bars with sexual intentions.
Yeah.
He masturbated before, so he's not picking us up to take us home.
The craziest thing is he genuinely wanted us to be like impressed with that. Like, oh, you're not picking girls up at the bar. Like, he wanted us to be impressed with that, and we're like, ick, like, get away from me.
That's a hard no.
And it's like, if you really need to heat one off before going out, like you have problems.
Yeah, like go fuck your pillow or something.
Yeah,
like stay
what the
home.
fuck? It's so
You're a
weird.
danger to society.
But other than that, great music, great vibes. We met a lot of really cool people, and so that was great. But then we also had a party on Saturday, and that was also my friend's younger. She's great, but all of her friends are younger too, and so they're like 22, 23,
Yeah, lots of those.
and they're just ready to party.
Yeah.
They're here for it.
Well, everybody that was there definitely likes to drink. And
Yeah.
we are not really that way. I
No.
guess we have learned to pace ourselves.
Yeah.
They did not. They started at 5, which good for them. I
5
haven't
p.m.
been there in a while. Do you know how old we sound right now? Like complaining about that. Like 5 p.m. and they were drunk by
I feel like unless you're like tailgating or day drinking, like
Okay.
you don't start because like you don't even go to the bar until what 11 o'clock.
Right.
I don't know about other places, but
I am 4 of us people at that party made it to the bar that night. Do you realize that? Nobody else actually made it.
Well, they started at 5. They
Yeah.
started literally like by 10 p.m. There was like puking over here. There was passed out on the couch over here.
That's so funny.
So yeah, we ended up going to the bar after that. That's where we met Mr. Jerk Off a lot.
Mr. Jerks Off a lot.
Yeah.
Jerks a lot. Seriously.
So if that was you and you're seeing this, fix that. That was not it.
What do you think, like, what kind of pickup line would work on you? Like, I feel
like anything genuine. Like if you're gonna come and talk to me about like, oh, like I love your vibe, I love your smile, or you seem like a really cool person. Like I feel like if you come at it in like not in a necessarily like a friend way, but kind of like a friend way. Like if you come up to me and your immediately intention is fuck, I feel like you know that. Like everybody can kind of use your intuition. Like we know, and especially if you're at the bar, like
yeah, come on.
That's kind of, I don't know. But
I get like when you go to the bar, it's a clear intention that people are trying to get laid. I get that. But it wouldn't hurt for you to tell me that I look nice or that you like my hair or like your shoes. Even if I'm not wearing good shoes, just it's better than you saying like, how old are you?
Yeah.
Or that you're jerking off. So, so.
I was not about that. But otherwise, it was really nice. I haven't been in a relationship since like, oh my God, 2022 or something like that.
Been a minute.
It's been so long, I don't even remember the last time I was in a relationship.
Well, I was saying time flies when you have fun, you know?
Yeah, when you're by yourself and nobody's crusty man is making you upset, making you cry. Yeah. So I definitely
those scrubs.
I love a lot of things about being at the bar. Don't get me wrong with the music and the vibes. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I like the bar. I don't love the bar. I like when you can meet new people.
Right.
And so that was really nice to be able to do that over Halloween. So
no, for sure.
Yeah, it is nice to go out. It is nice, especially when you're single. In a relationship, it kind of gets a little bit. It depends on who you're with, because if you're with an insecure person, like it's miserable to go honestly anywhere with them.
Absolutely.
Like my relationship. I feel like the older I'm getting, the more I'm learning, and the shorter my relationships are getting.
Yeah.
Like my first one started off 3 years, and then I went to like 6-9 months, whatever, and then it ended up being. It was 3 months for the last one, but then we only officially dated for like a week.
Right.
But I realized like I know my self-worth and I know what I'm like willing to put up with these days, and it just seems like anymore nobody's worth your time.
No, and you learn to honestly, you start to not ignore the red flags anymore.
Yeah.
When you stop ignoring the red flags, like you wake up so much faster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, in dating, it's cuffing. I could cup something. Cuffing season is coming, so I mean, I think we need to learn to enjoy it to be single because crusties are coming out.
Crusties are coming out. Like I said, I've just learned a lot about being in these relationships, and I think one of the biggest things, because I can't speak about like online dating, I can't speak about a lot of that stuff, and so I'm going to speak about what I've learned in the relationships I've been in, and then also things to do when you're alone, because I think a lot of people think that being alone means
you're lonely.
You're
lonely. That doesn't mean that.
Yeah, and so just like understanding things to do when you are alone. So we're gonna get into that a little bit later. But right now, I want to say the biggest problem I've ever had in a relationship, and romantic or not, is communication.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people, when we're talking about, so I'll give you an example. Like my sister ended up getting a coffee order wrong, and she was upset with it, and so she was like we were on a road trip, and she's like, I'm gonna call them, and I was like kind of chuckling about it because I'm like. I told her, I was like, that is such a Karen thing. You know what I mean? And it, like, whatever it did triggered her. immediately, you're a bitch, fuck you, like you're a cunt, nobody likes you, like what the fuck, right?
Too
And
much.
so a lot of things that I would say is when people are upset in arguments, they attack the person and they don't attack the problem.
Yes.
And so that's like my biggest advice to people in relationship is like, let's say you're in like somebody's on the phone for too long when you're with them. You don't be like, oh fuck you don't care about me. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
instead be like, hey, so like I've noticed personally from my perspective, I just feel that you've been spending a lot of time on your phone and that just makes me feel really like, it just tell them how it makes you feel. It makes me feel sad and left out, whatever. And so when you come with that with like that compassion and you come with it with a hey, like my feelings are hurt, but not in like an angry way, I think that is just perceived so much better.
Yes. Passive aggressiveness in any relationship at all, like, does nothing. And nobody wants to try to read somebody else's mind. But I think that people don't want to feel like they want to tell you how they're feeling. And because they don't want to be annoying by telling you, but they'd rather be passive aggressive.
Yeah, and you're like,
you
okay,
know?
we can't just sit here and expect everybody to read their minds.
No.
Like I just think that's the thing. If you should be able to go up to your partner, whoever you're seeing, and say, hey, here's my problem or here's how I'm feeling. And if they're not receptive, if they don't take any accountability, and if they're sitting there and they're like, well, you do that too, you know what I mean? Turning the narrative around on you.
Absolutely.
You know what that means? They don't respect you, and you know what I mean? Like they're not going to change. You can't fix something that you don't think is broken.
No.
Or you're not going to, right?
Right.
And so just taking that accountability, if they don't have any accountability, like you need to run. Like run. Yeah.
Where people, I think a red flag that I've learned is like when somebody just complains that they're the victim, everybody else is out to get them, and it's like, okay, but that means that you have some serious problems because everybody else is focused on their own self.
Right.
And like you don't just worry about yourself.
And so I think that's like another thing too, like when you are in a relationship, I think your ego comes out a lot and you are very quick to be defensive and you're especially when you are in very long relationships. I mean, there's so many things that you go through with a person that they constantly get brought up and you have a lot of things that you get to talk to them about that you're like, okay, well, a year ago you did this, 3 years ago, you know what I mean? So I just think like a lot of times you need to just bring the things up in conversation. And if it's something that they're not willing to get over and move on, like again, like you just need to leave because you're like, it's just not fair to anybody in the situation to be holding those grudges and having those triggers with people who are not willing to work on them.
Absolutely.
And so that was one thing like with my first relationship. So he's in jail now. He was a drug dealer. And so that was something I was like just out of my first year of college. I was like 18, 19, and I was just spitting as a kitten. He was so confident and he said all the right things. And I was with him. I was like almost gonna marry this man.
Right.
And when I first met him, he was not selling anything, but then it was like, oh, Christmas is coming. I want to buy you some nice gifts. And I was like, okay, like short term.
Okay.
And like, who am I going to be mad? Like, if you're just going to sell some weed to your friends, like, I can't really be like that mad about it. Cause like I smoke, like, I don't smoke like he did. Like I do like to go to bed.
I think like when you're at that age, it was probably super exciting to be with somebody that was doing that kind of stuff. But I mean,
not necessarily exciting, but it was just like more or less convenient for me. It was nice because like I never had to pay for it. And, you know what I mean? So there was just a lot of like things that I did like about it. We went on like fun cool trips, and so I mean there was a lot of things that we did do that was really fun. Don't get me wrong. But it got to the point where once I realized I wanted to be a teacher, I'm like, I cannot be associated with this anymore. Like, I can't get in trouble. It'll ruin my career. It'll ruin my life. And so that just really put a big divide in us because he was not willing to give up the money. And little did I know is he was actually addicted to a lot of other really bad things too. And so being naive and young and dumb, I didn't understand. But when you're on pills, like, you're very much like, you know what I mean? Like you're very reactive. And so for me personally, growing up, I grew up in a very reactive family. Like we're very quick to jump on each other for things. And so that was something that almost was like comfortable for me because I grew up with that. And so it was like normal for a while.
Right.
And then I don't know, I just got to a point after 3 years of it, I was like, this is not who I want to be. This is not the person I want to be. Like, I need to change who I'm with and who I surround myself around because this is just not it.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, the big communication is a huge thing.
No, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna move into like insecurities.
Well, just like start noticing the red flags. Like you
Yeah.
had to notice that after a while.
Oh yeah, and I think growing up, like that's one thing I've really understood is I quit doing that. I quit ignoring the red flags. That's why my last relationship lasted a week, was because it
Yeah.
really was like red flag, red flag, red flag.
Right.
And he was very insecure, very insecure. And so
We need to share the story about how you guys ended, or when you
Yeah.
kicked him out.
yeah.
So that's super important because that was a big red flag that you noticed.
Oh, yeah.
So what's the story?
So basically, I started talking to this guy. So my roommate at the time matched online dating with his roommate, and so we ended up just becoming friends in a group. And then I ended up started seeing him, and then we took a trip to Colorado. Like I drove with him so I could go visit my sister,
Mm-hmm.
and it was nice because he was going there anyways to see family. And so, anyways, long story short, we ended up. He asked me to be his girlfriend. I was like, sure, okay, yeah, let's do it. Well, okay, I was asking him because I'm like, you know what, we've been together for how long? We spent so much time together. Let's just make it official.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Well, the second that he did, he got super insecure to my face about things. So like he would hide a lot of his feelings before things were official. And then the second we became official, there was one thing where I was really upset. Like it was getting to a point where he was asking me so many insecure questions that I had to say, like before he'd be like, hey, can I talk to you? Like I'd have to stop him and be like, hey, is this an insecure question? Because if it is, I'm sorry. I'm not going to validate you every goddamn day of my life.
I
like,
can't.
I have better things to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're like, it's either a trust thing, you know what I mean? Like if I have to validate you, it's because you're not either secure within yourself or you don't trust me, or
Right.
both.
Yeah.
And so that was one thing that I really struggled with, was because I'm like, you should be able to trust me. Like I've literally done absolutely nothing to do.
Yeah.
Like, not to mention, before you, I haven't dated anybody for years. You
Right.
know what I mean?
You should be lucky to be here.
Yeah. And so that turned into, I was like, no, you don't need to ask me that question. Keep it to yourself. I don't want to hear your insecure question.
Good for you.
And then he brought it up again 5 minutes later. We're like watching a movie, and he brings up 5 minutes later and goes, so I was really going to ask you. I'm like, okay, so if you're going to ask me about it again, like just say it and get off your chest.
Actually.
And I'm like just getting annoyed at this point because I'm
You're
like, I'm trying to enjoy our movie, and you're like sitting here asking me dumbass questions.
Oh my God. I'm trying to enjoy my time with you.
Yeah, you know what the craziest thing is he was mad that I was not on my phone more.
That's wild.
Like he thought that I was being shady by not being on my phone. He thought I was hiding something on my phone. I'm like, no, I'm genuinely into like genuine connections, and I'm not gonna sit here and be on my phone when I have somebody else in the room with me. Like I'll be on my phone when you're gone because like I'm like hosting you, I'm entertaining. You know what I mean? Like it's
being present.
It's supposed to be like for me, that's the craziest thing in my perspective. I was being respectful.
That's what I thought.
And so like for him, he thinks I'm being shady. And
that's
so that was
so
like
funny
my first red flag. So I was our seventh, I will say. And so one thing that I said to him, I said, like, okay, like we can't do this anymore. Like you need to get out. Like I can't sit here and validate you every day. So I was like, you need to go. And this man dead ass looks me in the face and goes, so like on the couch.
Wrong. Wrong, and wrong.
I'm like, absolutely not. I'm telling you to get out of my apartment.
You kicked him out.
I kicked him out, and he literally goes, oh, can I like sleep on the couch? Oh my God, that is so embarrassing you asked me that. Like, get out.
I have to give you finger snaps for doing that because I've never heard of such a story. Like,
oh my God.
Literally were like, what time of the night was this?
It was like, honestly, like early afternoon.
Oh, okay, sure.
So like daylight.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
I was
get
just
out.
like,
oh yeah, get out.
And then like sat in the parking lot forever. I'm like, I hope you're crying about it because that's ridiculous that you're genuinely making me feel bad for not spending more time on my phone. Like you want me to be on my phone in front of you so you can creep on it.
Right.
That's insane.
That's insane.
So I was like, I'm sorry, I can't do this. Like
that's like a black flag. I don't know what to call that. Like that's too far.
Yeah. So that I don't know. There's just a lot of things that I'm a lot quicker at cutting off, and because I have done the work internally, I have done that self-work, or like I know my worth now, and so I just feel that comes with spending a lot of alone time and being on my own for so long. I think I've really understood or really made it a point to love myself and love spending time with myself.
Right.
Like I don't feel like I need somebody else to fill the time because I'm content with who I am.
Right. It should not be a red flag that you're not on your phone though.
Yeah.
Like that is bizarre.
Yeah. So I just was not in a position in my life where I'm like, I was so happy. I was so single. I was loving my life. and then I let this crusty man into my life just for him to piss me off.
The wind blew him in, and it blew him right back out. Like,
Well,
girl,
okay.
he needs to grow backbone.
He
for
wasn't
sure.
in my league though.
No.
Here's the thing: I
Okay.
tried doing something different and going for somebody who was not in my league, and not in the good way either. And so, not that he wasn't
cute at all,
but
you liked his personality.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was something that you have to date somebody within your league or be secure with who you are, because if you're not secure with yourself, then you're gonna tear somebody else down. That's
actually a good point. And it's not that love can't be blind, because it can be. Well, and I only say that because I've been watching the show, but I mean, it goes to show, like, I mean, just the insecurities that people have and like whatnot. But like when you do date out of your league, it can be super stressful on people. And
it shows you a lot about that person.
Right. I dated a guy that I would say I thought he was really cute. The one that followed me out to Arizona. He had the mustache. I thought that was hot. It was great. He had all these things going for him. But
he had a false sense of confidence.
He had a false sense, yes. Because when it came down to the nitty-gritty of me going out with my friends, he was like, well, why are you going to wear that? Why are you putting on spray tan? Why are you, well, because it doesn't matter. Because it does not matter. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I remember that we got in a fight about it. I cried and I canceled my plans because I'm like, I don't even want to go out because I'm just bawling now because you're pissing me off.
God, that just like makes me so sad.
You know what he did though? He's like, oh, do you want to go cuddle then? I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, get away from me. I don't even want to be near you right now. The only reason I'm not going out is because I'm crying. Like,
oh my God.
And so that kind of reminds me of your situation where they're like, okay, well, can we do this though?
Yeah.
And you're like, no.
I got what I wanted, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
Sorry that you're not.
Seriously. Oh yeah, he's super pleased with himself.
Just skipping around the room.
Right. Where yeah. So ended that relationship because I could not take. I was supporting him financially after he followed me out there. He was not confident in himself that I'm a big girl. I'm gonna do things.
Yeah.
He didn't like that. Mm-hmm. And jealousy is an ugly color to wear.
Oh yeah, it is.
And honestly, what's weird is jealousy in relationships.
Oh yeah. Especially like if you are the better looking one and you get more attention, like that's a huge thing that comes into play too. I didn't even think about that.
Something that I realized was I had my 7-year relationship, my high school sweetheart. Long story short, I felt like he was not happy with himself anymore. He wasn't doing the sport that he was doing anymore. He like college is over, things are done, and I was getting busy at work. I started modeling at a boutique, and you know what he said to me? That it's like you're getting more attention than me. And I'm like, you should be proud of me. Like, I'm busting my ass over here, and you're crying, and like you can do great things too. Yeah. Like everybody can do great things. You just have to apply yourself, really.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I think insecure people need to apply themselves.
Oh yeah, because at the end of the day, you're insecure because you're allowing it. Like, I hate to say it, but like you're crying in the corner because of your own actions and your own beliefs. Like that's the saddest thing is like I'm not better than anybody. You're not better. Like nobody's better than anybody else. Here's the thing though. It's just about how much you love and accept yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, if you don't accept yourself, then how am I going to expect you to love me? How am I going to expect you to accept me? You know what I mean? And so that's been really, really hard for me to understand is like the way that you treat me is not a reflection of me. It's a reflection of you.
Right.
And so if you're going to be insecure and you're going to make me belittle me and make me feel less than, it's because that's how you feel.
Right. No, it's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I've done the work. I put the goddamn time in. Like, I do not deserve that.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of you for saying that. Yay!
Yay! Self growth. So yeah, I will say like I said, I can't kind of chime into current relationships as much, but I will say I've learned so many things being alone. And I think the hard thing is a lot of people are stuck on comparison.
That's true.
I think a lot of people are really stuck with comparing themselves to other people, especially like me being like a blonde. A lot of people wish it would be blondes, right? But then I'm like sitting here. I have really light eyelashes, really light eyebrows. Like I could put on so much makeup for you to see either or. You know
some
what
definitions.
I mean? Yeah. And so there's a lot of things where I've had to realize like, wow, like I am beautiful. I love myself. Like
Mhm.
everybody wants what they can't have, right?
Absolutely.
But I mean, growing up and maturing is realizing that you don't want what you don't want what you can't have, because you know
Right.
what? If you don't have it, it wasn't meant for you anyways.
Absolutely.
So
Right.
that's one thing that I've noticed with alone time, because when you are alone and have your phone, that's not alone time.
No.
Because then
No,
what's
you're
the
still
first thing you do?
social
Social
media.
media. And what
Literally
do you do when you
social.
get on social media?
Like you get depressed because you're looking at comparing yourself to other people.
Thank you, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I actually made a list and came up with some things that I really enjoy doing, because I've had a lot of alone time, and some things that I've really enjoyed doing, it's really made me love myself more, is affirmations.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like a big like hoopsie da kind of thing,
Nothing wrong with it.
but like one thing I want to ask is like, when you look in the mirror, like what's the first thing that you notice about yourself? What's that inner monologue telling yourself? Like some people, when they look in the mirror, they're like, oh, I wish I didn't have like these rolls. I wish I didn't have, I wish I had a bigger
Wrinkles.
butt. I wish I didn't have I'm getting so old. I'm getting
Oh
wrinkles.
my God. But what about the
How
good
many
stuff?
of these things are negative? You know what I mean? And so one thing that's really important is like looking at yourself and like finding things that you love.
You're like, this is good. We can work with this.
Yeah.
You know?
So I think one thing that's really helped me is like writing affirmations on my mirror with like a expo marker, like the little whiteboard markers, like I am beautiful, I love myself. And so I have a fat ass. You know,
I got
I don't.
a donk trunk back here.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Yeah, right. So I mean, just things like that. Like I just feel, even if you're not super happy with the way that you look, like just finding things that you do love. Like stop talking negatively about yourself, because if you talk negatively about yourself, how are you going to expect other people to talk positively? You know what I mean?
How do you expect to get in a relationship? How do you expect somebody to like you if you don't even like you?
Thank you. Yeah.
For
So
sure.
that's like a big thing too. So like making sure that you're kinder to yourself, quit criticizing yourself, because everyone's in this horrible journey of life that we're doing, and nobody knows what the is going on.
Right.
So
No, nobody, there's no guidelines, there's no rules. You really
No.
have to figure it out.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I would recommend. So, like some other things, like one of my all-time favorite things to do is putting instrumental music on
Yay.
and puzzling.
Right.
I just feel like I can kind of be in my own world. And
Do you know what I was thinking is, do you know what's great about what you're doing is it's very sensory.
yeah,
I think people forget, hey, go get a candle, light it. Like, go find a scent that you like,
yeah,
put on music, a sound that you like, and physically do something that you like.
yeah.
Do all of that. Like, you're going to feel so much better once you do.
I know you brought me some muffins. You've really been into.
Yeah, so I'm super into like baking. I find that baking definitely keeps me busy. I love to give it to people, so it makes me feel good. And it's just honestly something that, the older I get, the more I'm like, oh, I want to bake some banana bread. So I'm going to make some banana bread. So I've been doing plenty of that. But yeah, it's a sensory thing. I love the smell of it. It gives me something to do. And I watch a movie while I do it. So,
right.
Yeah.
One thing that's very sentimental to me that I love that I do is I journal quite a bit.
Okay.
And when I say quite a bit, like I'll journal. Sometimes it'll be every day. Sometimes it will be once a 2 weeks. Sometimes it'll be once a month. And so it's not something that's like a set guideline or anything like that.
Right.
But one of the coolest things that I love to do is going back to like trying to find the closest date, like 2 years ago. So like if I'm journaling for November 12th today, I'm gonna go back and try to find something from like November of 2021.
Oh,
so, like,
that's cool that you do that.
It's really cool to see like where I was in life then,
Right.
and like where I'm at now, and it really helps you see that growth on paper instead of like, I don't remember shit from ever any time ever.
Right.
And so it's really cool to just remind myself, like even like when I'm crying and I've like, oh, like this guy's my drug dealer boyfriend is doing this, you know what I mean?
He's not the one.
Yeah, and so it's just like really cool to be able to see that over
You're
time.
maturing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love that. That's
So
excellent.
Journaling is something I would recommend too for people.
That's a cool. I like that you do the throwback and
Oh yeah,
memories.
it's like Snapchat memories.
Yeah.
But it's like
all your emotions actually.
Emotions, right?
That's nice.
So that's something that I really enjoy. Another thing that I know people really want to get into is like yoga.
Yeah.
And meditation, I will say.
Damn, I used to do that, and now I'm like not. I'm baking.
Yeah, that's so good though too. That's
yeah.
so really good. Anything that you're doing with your hands that's not looking at a screen like is amazing, right?
Right. But yoga just feels so good.
The stretch.
To get on the floor grab your toes. Try
Grab
to
your
touch your
toes.
toes. Grab your toes.
If
Grab
you're
those
tall
piggies.
girls like us, maybe it's a little bit harder.
Right. We got long legs. Just reach for those piggies. But
Yeah.
just when you get that stretch, like it just feels good.
It's just moving that energy around in your body, where it's like if something energy stuck in your body, because we store energy in our bodies, especially the negative things. You know what I mean? And so, I like to put on music and dance in my room. And one thing that I've really been working on is like rolling my hips. I'm so bad at that. I'm like so boxy about it, and so I've been working on that, and so that's been kind of fun.
I dance like Tina Belcher off Bob's Burgers. You don't watch that, but
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Stop.
So
That's
yeah.
me.
So
yoga would be good.
I'm not gonna do it, but I do the floss quite a bit too.
You know, floss. You know what? That's good to move your hips.
Yeah.
Right.
So dancing is really fun too. But going back to yoga meditation, yoga is really great if you just wanna look up a YouTube video and follow along on like look up easy yoga. I'm not sitting here saying you have to like be sweating or doing hot yoga or anything like that. But one thing, meditation is so stupid hard. I will say, like, especially when we have constant ding, 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 like social media and so many things going on at the same time, it's hard to just quiet our mind. And so one thing that really helps is guided meditations. So I would recommend if you want to meditate but you don't know where to start, look up guided meditations.
Right. Okay.
You could just lay down, close your eyes, and just listen to the voice, and they'll walk you step by step what you need to do.
I love that.
And so that's really nice too if you're looking to quiet your mind but don't know where to start.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, honestly.
Napping. Sometimes,
oh my God.
I'm gonna be honest,
a fat nap.
People really don't talk about this enough. You need a nap when you need a nap. Like, we need to listen to our bodies more. I think everyone's so used to, especially in America, like we're so like grind, and you're gonna reap the rewards. Well, I'm sorry, how are you gonna reap the rewards if you're dead? Like, you need to take care of yourself and your body.
Right. And I think I used to like hearken myself for taking a nap. I would feel guilty.
Right.
Because I usually have Mondays off.
You don't want to waste a day.
No, I usually have Mondays off. Well, I feel like I need to be productive, but there are times that I'm so groggy. I mean, it's a Monday. Come on.
Right.
But yeah, I sometimes I feel guilt like when I take naps, but
and women need way more sleep than men do. First of all, I will say that women definitely need way more. Yeah, we need way more sleep than men do statistically, and then also when we're on our time of the month too, like that's a whole other factor that goes into it.
Absolutely.
Be kind to yourself. Don't criticize yourself. It's okay to take a nap. Even if you want to set a timer for like 30 minutes, like it doesn't have to. You don't have to sleep for half the day. Like. If you're tired, take a nap.
I heard like a 26 minute nap or something like that was like the perfect time just to like close your eyes, rest, get back up. Honestly, just laying down and like get cozy for a minute. Yeah. Jump in your bed at 1 o'clock. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
So yeah, just be nice to yourself. Do those things that you need to. One thing that is way more helpful than I think people realize is organizing and cleaning.
Oh yeah.
So like decluttering, I will say.
Right. And yeah, you just feel better. Like once you can see your floor, your clothes are cleaned up, your mind is cleaned up.
Like, I don't know about you, but like when I have like the table full of stuff and I have nowhere to cook or nowhere to put my things, like that makes me so crabby. I get so crabby when I have no table space. Yeah.
I'm constantly cleaning the countertops at my house.
Me too. It drives me nuts. And so one thing, even if you're a pretty clean person, dust your blinds. I know that you get some crusty blinds over there. So dust your blinds.
Probably need a vacuum. Wash your sheets. Wash your sheets.
Yep.
I bet you forgot to do that, didn't you? Bet you forgot.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's so funny because I need to do that.
I know. So yeah, anyways, cleaning really helps you because when you have a cluttered house, you have a cluttered mind, and I will stand by that forever. It's so much healthier for you. I know, I'm so tired.
I know, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's so much healthier for you in your mind, like internally, if your outside environment is in order.
No, for sure. What works on the outside will work on the inside.
Yeah.
So, I love that.
Definitely. That's like just some things that you should do when you have some alone time. I think that's really important. One other thing that I would say is practice gratitude. Like practice going through and finding things to be grateful for, because I think in a society where nothing's growing right now, it's so hard to look at the positives. And I hate to be that person like, oh, like look at the positives, but it really changes your life.
No, absolutely.
Like I feel I've even noticed that with people in my life where when they're negative people, there's things constantly going wrong in their life.
Right. Absolutely.
If you keep telling people, oh, my life sucks, this is happening, guess what's going to happen? Your life's going to suck, this is going to happen, that's going to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you speak it into existence. And so,
Right.
not to get all spiritual or anything, but it's just really important to talk about things that you're grateful for. Because even when you think about it, like, it just brings a smile to your face, you know?
I heard that the more positive you are, it changes your mindset to accept better opportunities, or that you're more willing to get better opportunities. So just having that mindset will actually direct you into better stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I just think that you just need to make sure that you're having a good attitude, and
just better. Your work will be better. Your life will be. Your relationships will be better.
yeah,
all of them.
So yeah, kind of wrapping up like what we talked about. I think it's really important to talk about a lot of this starts unfortunately within, and so like if you're not willing to do the work, I mean, don't expect change to happen. You
No.
know what I mean? Like, don't, like, that's a definition of insanity, doing something over and over and over again and
Right.
expecting something to change.
For sure.
And so like change your habits, just change everything. If you're not happy where you're at, like, you just need to do a whole 180.
2 things I want to say. 1, just because you're alone doesn't mean you're lonely. 2, if you're a guy, do not go up to a girl at the bar and talk about jacking off. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, and so I just think that we're all just need to be kinder to each other, and
Especially to yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. So, yeah, I think that kind of wraps it up.
It does. That was good.
Yeah, part 2. I mean, we messed up the part 1, so hopefully this one's just as good. But
oh, it's great.
Yeah, if you
Thanks,
hated
guys.
it, that's okay, because we are
not that funny.
Yeah. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe, whatever you need.
Leave a comment.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.